What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 5, Episode 30 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313 Podcast. We have a very interesting and exciting show for you today. I can't wait to look forward to introduce you who is in the building today, and that person is none other than the current acting police chief for the city of Hamtramck, Mr. Hussein Farhat. Go ahead and give him a round of applause. Very excited to have you on here, Chief. We appreciate you for all that you have been doing, and there's been a lot going on, so we can't wait to talk to you and hear everything that's been going on and let people know a little bit more about yourself. So we're looking forward to that. Shout out to my little big bro Yusuf T in the back on the ones and twos. As always, we appreciate him. Of course, you got myself, Omar T. And again, today's topic, it's all about community change, crime. We're talking with the police chief here in the city of Hamtramck. But before we discuss that, I just want to tell you how you can follow us. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts, all under Oz Media. You can find all those platforms on our website, ozmedia313.com. Shout out to the sponsors of the show: Juice Box, Holy Bowly, Wingfellas, Beit El Mocha, Chill Box, Malika Kebab, Hanley International Academy, The Family Doc, GEE Preparatory Academy, and Royal Kebab. Yusuf, let's start off with our good friends over there at Malika Kebab, and then we're going to officially get things rolling. Have you ever tried Malika Kebab, by the way, Chief?
I love it.
There you go. I just wanted to make sure we confirm it, all right? Shout out to Malika Kebab. Malika Kebab has become noted as one of the best Middle Eastern restaurants in the Metro Detroit area. The restaurant has become a popular destination for visitors and is always full of satisfied locals who are proud to invite their guests to taste real Middle Eastern food. With options like shish platters, shawarma plates, shawarma sandwiches, lamb chops, fattoush, and tabbouleh salads, you can never go wrong when you choose to eat at Malika Kebab. They currently have 3 locations: West Dearborn, Taylor, and Trenton. Be sure to stop by Malika Kebab to satisfy all of your Middle Eastern cravings. You can also visit them at their website, malikkebab.com. All right, Chief. So first of all, again, thank you for coming on. We're excited to have you here. And first and foremost, before we even dive into anything, I want to start off by saying, tell us a little bit about yourself. I want people out there to know who you are and, all the process of where you're at now in life, because I know you have a great, resume, a lot going on. And, it's good for people to know, what you have done in the past led to who you are today, Chief.
So I grew up in South End, Dearborn, and then I attended Salina Elementary. I went on to Fordson High School, and eventually I earned a degree, my education finished at Eastern Michigan University. I got a teaching degree. In 1995, I started out as a deputy sheriff with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. I was there for about 9 months. I had the drive. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be a cop in a police car, do the fun stuff. So I was lucky. I was driving through towns looking for jobs. It was hard to get a job back then. You would have one applicant and, versus, one position, versus like 200-300 applicants. So it was very competitive to get a job in law enforcement. And I was driving through Romulus one day, and I was looking at the planes, the Northwest Airlines planes. They looked beautiful. The airport looked really nice for me. So I stopped at City Hall, and I put in my application. And then they called me, and then I was hired there.
For what position?
A road patrol officer.
Okay.
So I went from a deputy sheriff to a road patrol officer.
Just because you wanted to be behind the wheel, basically.
Yeah, I wanted to be out there. I was the kind of guy. I said, hey, when I would sit in an interview, they'd ask me, hey, why do you want to be a cop? I'm like, I want to be out there. I want to be out in the community. I hated sitting behind the desk.
Yeah.
So I took that job, and I was on the road for about 7 years, and I was supposed to be picked for a DEA undercover assignment, and 9/11 happened. And after I was picked for the DEA narcotic position, I was told, hey, listen, we do need somebody that has been there before. A lot of departments started pulling their officers from different task forces because of what was going on, to assign them for security around their cities. So I had to wait until 2003. Another position came up open from Romulus to be assigned to DA drug enforcement. So I wanted that position. I put for it again, and I interviewed for it, and I was picked to go to DEA. So I was there from 2003 to about August 2005. During that time with the DEA, I started working cases as a task force officer. I started working cases, conspiracies. So I got to one point where where one case was almost a wiretap case. It was an also death investigation, which is organized crime drug enforcement task force. This is when you work a regional case. So I started getting the attention of the federal government, Washington D.C. So one day I got a phone call from CIA. CIA called my house. I thought it was a prank. I thought my friends were pranking me. But it came out. It was a true call from CIA. They sat with me, and I was asked if I wanted to join. And at that time, I said no, I didn't. I wanted to be a DEA agent. So in August 2005, I was hired by DEA. I was sent to Quantico, Virginia, to finish my DEA training. And I graduated 12/15/2005 class, basic agent class, training class 170. And I was reassigned back to Detroit. I came to Detroit. I worked on conspiracy cases. I was an undercover agent for the DEA. Loved it. And soon after, I was always the type of guy that could collaborate, work well with people.
Yeah.
So I worked very well with various agencies, especially with my background being a police officer. So I could relate to police officers better than some agents that weren't police officers before. So they decided to attach me to Michigan State Police, Western Wayne Narcotics, to help develop their cases from small cases to big cases, international cases.
So where'd you work when you were doing that?
I covered Western Wayne County for Michigan State Police.
So you didn't have like a central location of like an office, or you?
We had with Michigan State Police. We had an office at the time on Michigan and Getty's in Canton. That was our office. That was the Michigan State Police office because I was assigned to them.
Yeah.
But I was always all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So we never, and I was the type of guy, I never sat in my office. So you would never find me in my office. I was always out. I would be making a lot of cases. So at the end of each 2 weeks, we had to do what we call time of and attendance. So you had to put all the cases that you were working on. I really didn't have any more spots to fill because I was working all those cases. Other people would come to me from my team. They'd be like, "Hey, could I see what you were working on?" So they could copy some of the case numbers, so they could justify the time that they were there.
Yeah.
Well, I had no problems doing that. I worked in the DA, worked on the international cases, worked cases against cartels, mafia, and local gangs. It was beautiful. I did all that stuff because the wonderful people that were around me, they're the ones that taught me. I really didn't know anything when I got to DEA. Even as a police officer, I had no clue how to be a police officer. So, but I was willing to listen. I was willing to sit by the best. And sometimes, you take abuse, because, they all got strong personalities, right?
Yeah.
But you learn from them.
Yeah.
So
you went from DEA to, then you came back to this area?
So I came back. I went back to Romulus, and I started working in their investigative bureau. So I worked on violent crime cases. I retired from Romulus, and then I went on to. I was offered a job in the city of Dearborn Heights as a director of emergency management. I went to Dearborn Heights as a director of emergency management, and soon after, I went up to director of police operation, deputy chief of police, and interim chief of police in Dearborn Heights before coming to Hamtramck.
By the way, I just want to share this, that I'm, the communications and community engagement person for the city of Hamtramck. So I work with the chief the past couple months that he's been there. And, now also with the council meetings, standing next to him, the partner in crime right there, right next to me as well. So I definitely can vouch for this man right here. He's doing an amazing job, even in the couple months that he's been there. And so we both know that this past week was a rough week. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The news is all out there that, there was an abduction of a juvenile. And we're not going to talk too much about the case.
Thank you.
But I do want to address the fact that how the community response and the specific different individuals who played like a hero role, for the solution of that case to get it to where it was, I just want to hear your thoughts on that right there.
So the case started out as most other cases. We received calls on it, 911 calls. Our officers immediately responded to the area and located a witness who provided crucial information on how to help that helped us. That led us to the location of the victim. And once we got to the victim, there was another individual that heroically put his life on the line and stepped in to help this young child.
What does that say about the city of Hamtramck, for being there?
So it's a tight community. We care about one another. It, I mean, it's just with the diversity makes it so strong. A lot of people, maybe if you haven't been exposed to different ethnic groups, you might think of it as a weakness. I think of it as one of our strengths in Hamtramck, that we are different, but we respect one another, and the community supports the police. The police department really supports the community because the amount of people that come in our lobby, just they want to thank us every day, and it breaks my heart because I see it. I see the amazing people that Hamtramck. The residents are how they are and how they go on their life. They work hard and they want nothing but peace. They support our public safety initiatives in the city. Anything, as you could see, sitting next to you in a city council meeting, I get people come up to me all the time. They're like, Chief, whatever it is for public safety, we support you. And this is the kind of community they are. We got different religions, different ethnic groups, but it doesn't matter. We treat everybody equally, and everybody respects one another in Hamtramck.
And this is a conversation we've had in past shows with other different individuals who talked about the importance of whenever something like this, the news comes out, that it's important not to say anything unless you know the facts of the situation. And even then, personally, to me, I don't think you still should say anything, but that's at least that you should do is, like, basically, I want you to comment on, there's a lot of misinformation about the whole situation when it was coming out, and there probably still is.
Yes.
So maybe not speaking about it specifically, but just talking in general, the importance of not being those people who spread false information at a time like this and the effects of it,
Yes.
false information.
So I want to start out by saying a lot of times when you see the police giving press conferences on incidents, some people feel that the police are hiding something. No, we're only trying to give out the information that we could give out at that time. So any actions by individuals that would try to get more, or try to put more information than it should be placed out there, it hurts the investigation. It hurts the cooperating witnesses or even the victim in some cases. And I'm not speaking specifically about, I'm saying in general. I just want the community to trust us with the amount of information that we give out. Because I just want to say the amount that we are giving out is what we are supposed to. We cannot give out more information when the investigation's still going, when a lot of people wanted to know the suspect's name, but we can't until that person's formally arraigned. We work with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and they have instructions to the police. We have to follow their directives because they're going to be the ones that prosecute major cases, felony cases, and so forth. So I ask everybody in Hamtramck, Dearborn Heights, Dearborn, trust your police agencies. When they're giving you information, just try to know that this is the only information they can give you at that time, and respect the process.
Couldn't say any better. Thank you for sharing that, Chief. And so let's now talk about your first 2 months in the city of Hamtramck. All right.
Yes.
How is it? What do you think overall? Just give us anything you'd like to share about the first 2 months as the chief of the city of Hamtramck.
So I could tell you, I went in there my first day before I even started. I did a walk around the police department, and I saw how the officers and supervisors are really like prepping my office for me to move in. It was really nice. I saw, there was no animosities. Like we're getting a new chief from an outside agency. No, they wanted me to be there. You could tell they really wanted a chief. And one person commented, Chief, it'll be nice to see the office get reoccupied again. I came in and I saw a bunch of dedicated individuals. I could see it in their eyes when they come in every day. They want to serve the community. and they have a lot of attachments to their community, and they respect the community, and I'm sure there was a community respects them back as well. I just want nothing but positive relationships between the department and the residents, and I could assure the residents that most of our officers and supervisors that I have spoken to all have nothing but positive things to say about the community. They love it. Some of them have been in Hamtramck almost 24 plus years. They're about to retire, and they want to finish their career in Hamtramck. Some of them could have went anywhere else, right? But they decided to stay in Hamtramck because they love it.
Yeah.
And coming in there, they were taking me around the restaurants, showing me different Polish restaurants, Mediterranean restaurants. I mean, it's just a beautiful city. It reminded me so much of South End Dearborn, between me and you.
Yeah.
I have to say that.
Glad he said that, because people from South End be like, man, Hamtramck is not, man, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Very similar, man.
Yes,
Like, this
yes.
is I know I'm from Hamtramck, but like people gotta, sometimes look from the outside in. We're twins.
Yes, yes. And you know what? There's no difference between the people I've been growing up around next door, as my neighbors from early childhood, to the ones I see today.
By the way, we're talking about the Yemeni and the Arab community of this, because we don't want to just be like all.
No,
Hamtramck,
and not just the even we in South End there was a lot of course white Caucasian
Yeah.
Americans, African Americans, Yemeni
Okay.
population, even Palestinians. I mean, we get people coming in the lobby. They're not they're Arabic,
Yeah.
but they're not all Yemeni,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
So
That's true.
they all have the same love in them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And so we're just talking about that. So let's talk about the different diversities. I know you kind of touched on the Bangladeshi, the Polish. You got Yemeni. You got all these different backgrounds in Hamtramck. Like, how do you navigate as the chief? with the different backgrounds, and tell us what your process is for how you would handle certain situations, maybe.
So we respond the same. We respond with fairness with everybody. We respect them. Of course, we understand the diversity background of each person. We have to, but that's not to give somebody preference in
Yeah.
any treatment, because we treat everybody the same. Our community and police department is built like the community we serve. We have Bangladesh officers. We have Albanian American officers. We have Polish American officers, Iraqis. I mean, you name it. So we're diverse. This is a very diverse police department.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. It's a lot more diverse than what it was when I was growing up, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So it's definitely, the change is definitely evident.
Yes, sir.
So believe it or not, we're gonna pause right quick right there and go ahead and give a shout out to our next ad. Shout out to the chief for getting us rolling, and looking forward to hearing more things. And by the way, the one thing I do want to ask you, but we'll talk about it afterwards, is the nickname Smiley. All right, because I haven't addressed that yet. So shout out to our good friends over there at the Wing Fellas, Yusuf. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to them, and then we'll keep things rolling. Do you know what goes perfect with the big game or your favorite TV show? Some deliciously tender wings from Wingfellas. Wingfellas Restaurant is home to the best wings in Michigan. With over 20 different sauces and seasonings to choose from, you can make sure every wing order you make caters to your taste buds. They have 7 different locations in Michigan. They have a location in Dearborn, Southfield, Detroit, Belleville, Wyandotte, Flint, and Taylor. So no matter where you are at in the state, Wingfellas is your one-stop shop for some fall-off-the-bone wings. Also, be sure to visit them at their website at thewingfellas.com. I mean, listen, if somebody was to look at you and talk to you for a minute, they probably understand why they call you Smiley.
Yes.
Mashallah, Allahumma barak, that's a beautiful attribute to have. It's actually sunnah, right? It's actually like, as Muslims, smiling at somebody is actually like, it's a good deed. So my point is there's actually a backstory, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us, by the way, people are like, oh, you guys are gonna, Smiley's coming to Hamtramck, Smiley. I'm like, who's Smiley?
Yes.
Then I did my little research and saw who you were, but I never knew what the story was. I asked you recently, but can you share with us, how'd you get the nickname Smiley?
So in 9th grade, I was on my wrestling team. I didn't know how to wrestle, right? So I'm standing on the side, and we had a guy named Mohammed Beydoun. He was a wrestler at 140 pounds. So I was young. I was like about 130, 125.
We're not talking about Mayor Mo Beydoun from Dearborn Heights.
No.
Okay. So, hey,
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
some people might be like Mo Beydoun, Mohammed Beydoun, but go ahead. Just want to
No,
clarify that.
no. So Mohammed Beydoun got sick and ended up going in the locker room while there was a wrestling match going on. So my coach, it was his time to step on the mat. So Coach Marzlak, who's no longer with us today, he looked at me. He's like, Hussein, where's Mo? And I go, Coach, I think he went in the bathroom. He goes, go get him. And then I turned around and then he grabbed me by my arm. He goes, no, 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 you go in there. So he had me go wrestle against a captain from Annapolis High School. And this guy was like a man already. I was a child, you know. I
Ninth
was,
grade?
yeah, I was in ninth grade,
Yeah.
but the guy was in 12th grade,
Yeah,
you know.
ninth grader.
He was a captain of his team. I
Yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
to wrestle. They used to
Yeah.
call me the caveman because I didn't know how to wrestle. And then so I go, Coach, I said, you want me to go against this guy? I go, Coach, he's got hair on his legs. you know? So I stepped on the mat and it wasn't pretty. The guy ended up pinning me in a banana split, right? It's very painful. So when I stepped off the mat and I was walking back to my coach, everybody thought I was gonna be in pain. I was smiling. Okay, so I was like embarrassed, but I was smiling. And then a guy named Kader Rumuni, he looked at me. He goes, "Oh my God!" He goes, "You just got beat up and you're smiling." So and then he goes, "That's it. Your nickname is Smiley." So that's how I got my nickname.
And now I've been Smiley
Yes.
since.
Yes.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, go ahead, get. That was a story right there. You have some actually funny wrestling stories, by the way. So
Yes.
shout out to the chief. You know, he would never back down from any battle. I'll tell you that. So, chief, you know, we talk about community policing, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing that you guys plan on doing? Like, for example, police when it comes to the businesses in the city, and
Yeah.
what are some things that you do already? You know.
So when I first got to Hamtramck Police Department, the management there, and I don't want to sound like they were waiting for a chief to come and sit down to see what to discuss their goals, and I shared it with them, and we sat down, and one of those things was create a community policing division, because we did not have that in Hamtramck. So right now we have one person who's really engaged with the community, and we are doing promotions to assign somebody to the division. I am a very community policing oriented person. My background in Ramos Police was a department that was heavily invested in community policing, and I saw the results. I saw how it took kids that were at risk kids and made them better people. Some of those kids did not have, they had their either missing parents for whatever reason. So we filled in their spots, and we worked closely with the communities. But we assessed businesses, their security. We worked with neighborhoods. We worked with elderly people. I saw the difference it made, and it developed better trust between the community and the police. And I have always been one. And some who don't have the experience doing it will always tell you, oh, but really, if you go to cities like Romulus, even Ann Arbor today, they have programs like that, and they're very successful. You know, and we should model ourselves after them. We have a population. Some of them don't speak English. It's nice to get a one-on-one interaction with an officer outside of a traffic stop, outside of a time when you call for because you're having issues. I wanted the officers to meet the people on every day, like just an everyday person. Just show up there, talk to the businesses, see what the problems they're facing. You could be going to a party store and advising them on how to do a better job of accepting a check so he doesn't become a victim to check fraud.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that, man. And I guess from that, chief, is you know you being an Arab American. Shout
Yeah.
out to Chief. He is Lebanon, so
Thank you.
Lebanese. Chief Farhat. Like, how do you feel like does that help you in the role that you're in, especially working in a city like Hamtramck?
I come from a humble background. I could tell you that. I don't care about status. I never cared about status in life. I'm an everyday person. And being in a community like Hamtramck, I feel I'm the same level as everybody else.
Yeah.
I go out there, and my background, being an Arab American, and I'm gonna tell you something. As a child, I used to work to help my mom sometimes pay bills. I was a 13-year-old kid. I used to sell makeup in the streets. A lot of people don't know that. So whatever it is, again, I'm very humble because of my background,
Yeah.
how I was brought up. I went to college and got a degree and wrestled, but I had the right people in my life that helped me get there. And I want to be a positive influence in the community, not a police chief that I'm going to come there and just talk about arresting people. Yeah, okay, we want to arrest bad guys. We all want to do that. We all want to make the community safe. But what else are we doing in the community to develop relationships? Our best eyes are not the police officers, are the residents. The residents that see things and call the police. We could have police out there, but if we don't have, if the community doesn't trust us, we're not going to be successful.
I love that. And you talk about relationships. Why or how important is it to have that relationship with the surrounding cities of the city of Hamtramck? I know that's something that you've been key on. You've been
Yes.
focused on a lot these past couple months. Why is that important?
So, police department like Hamtramck, right? So when I came in Hamtramck, one of the things we wanted to look at is how do we respond to certain things, and who do we have that could back us up? And we quickly realized we needed to do more collaboration. So I reached out to chiefs of police in Western Wayne County, and we went and we did a speech asking to join the organization Western Wayne, Western Wayne Mutual Aid. That is up right now. We hope to get a yes vote this month.
Inshallah.
We went into our federal partners, high intensity drug trafficking area, HIDA. We talked to Director McGrady from Michigan State Police, who's a very honorable man. He extended every assistance to our department. Um, we figured out we have an issue with auto theft, right? As most communities, but I wanted to do something about it. So me, Deputy Chief Molesky, and Detective Captain Robert George, we met with Michigan State Police, and we will be soon assigning a detective to work on that squad. So collaboration is very important. We could, I mean, if we don't have collaboration, we're stuck on our own island, and I don't want to be that. Coming from a background in DEA, and just not just the DEA alone. Even when I was working with Ramos Police Detective Bureau, I was constantly in the city of Detroit or whatever city of River Rouge, and so forth, meeting with officers, tracking suspects down. Most suspects that come to Hamtramck, and I want to say this, and commit crimes, they're not from Hamtramck.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna be stuck in my own city with not asking for help, I'm not catching the bad guys.
Shout out to the chief, man. He don't play around, man. So we're gonna, believe it or not, run into our next ad of today. Man, I appreciate you for being here, chief, man.
Thank
I feel
you.
like people are getting great information when they listen
I,
to this.
I
Inshallah.
appreciate it.
So let's go ahead and give a shout out to our final ad of today, Yusuf, and let's go ahead and give a shout out to Juice Box. Shout out to Juice Box, which they are in Hamtramck as well, by the way, chief. Maybe we have to stop by there as well, and then we'll keep things rolling. Shout out to Juice Box. If you're looking for a place with the best smoothies, milkshakes, ice cream, cereal bars, and slushies, then Juice Box is your one-stop shop. You can try things like their Biscoff or Nutella shakes, crepes, watermelon blast, strawberry burst, or mango smoothies. Juice Box currently has 4 locations: Hamtramck, Dearborn, Detroit, and Trenton. So be sure to stop by Juice Box and get ready to leave there with a big smile on your face. You can also visit their website at juiceboxblend.com or download their app at juiceboxblend.appfront.app. So, Chief, what I wanted to ask you is, you've been doing this for a long time. What is something that you feel like is like the biggest takeaway with being in this police force that people maybe misunderstand about what it is that you guys do and what it is that you guys bring to the community? Like, biggest misconception that people need to understand out there, the public should understand.
Yeah. So in my position as a chief of police, a lot of people feel like maybe this guy sits in the office and talks enforcement all day. But no, we are out there working with the drug prevention organizations, the community, Sometimes I feel like I'm a therapist, you know,
For sure.
even dealing with issues, in the department, working with residents, addressing issues, even with our partners. We work with a lot of technology partners and looking at contracts and so forth. So you know what? And sometimes you start moving up, and you start doing less like patrol, right?
Yeah.
I don't have time to go do patrol. I wish I can. I want to, but sometimes there's priorities, and the priorities to be in the office and having meetings, with our drug coalition partners. Sometimes we have events in the city, Hamtramck. We're planning on doing. I want to bring this up. I'm glad you reminded me. Citizens Academy, right?
Yeah.
And so it's we want to work with a Citizens Academy, and. And I'll throw you out another information. So we're trying to rebuild right now, remodel our police department, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to build a drone center.
Nice.
Hamtramck is in technology wise.
I was gonna say we could talk about technology
Yeah,
too, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, go ahead, continue on. You're just
So right now we partner with several companies. Flock is one of them, and Exxon is another one. There's a lot of talk about Flock with surveillance on privacy rights and so forth. I want to assure the public, most chiefs of police that I know, they're not having their guys spy on everybody that's coming through their town. That's not the purpose of those Flock.
Yeah.
The purpose of Flock is to get an alert on somebody wanted for sex crimes, murder, warrants. We want to make sure that person, if he comes through any city, that we are alerted and the proper actions taken. We want to prevent crime. Flock has helped us solve about 65% more cases in Hamtramck since we got them, since we fully implemented them, than we ever did. That is with Flock. With Exxon just a big, a company that offers body cams and drones and different functions with the body. You always hear like Dearborn, they're doing a very good job of like the language translations. You've seen them present it, and they are one of the leading agencies doing stuff with as far as technology and goes, right? And we try to model ourselves after successful programs. So right now, Exxon, we're talking to them back and forth, and we're putting together a plan to make Hamtramck one of the safest cities in Wayne County.
I just want to say this because I don't think I have mentioned it. Shout out to the chief doing great things, but there are a lot of members. I think the whole department is doing what they can with what they have.
Yes.
Doing an amazing job. A lot of the people in there, I see the work that they're doing, and I do want to give them their credit. Being in the building, you kind of see it firsthand.
Yes.
You're not like from the outside looking in, and you see what's happening. And I respect to you and to your whole team for what they're doing. I just want to make sure I mentioned that because you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, I know you said that you are looking for more potential, people to join hopefully the force soon, and you want the homegrown people,
Yes.
maybe if that's possible, because
Yes.
I mean maybe we want to touch on that, Chief.
Yes. So a part of the reassessing the police department was also to find out where we at in numbers and if we're missing officers. And of course, when we talk about, like we just got approval to assign 2 school resource officers to the Hamtramck Public Schools for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So but we need to fill those. We have to take them from the police department, but so we need to refill those positions. And we sat down with our CFO and our city manager, our mayor, and as city council. Everybody agreed that we need to hire more, and we currently have one person in the academy. He's a Yemeni American police officer. He will be graduating hopefully next month, and we are looking to hire additional 7.
Nice.
And we got very good quality applicants, and I was very pleased about last time. And we're doing their background right now. When that happens, the shift's going to be staffed with more additional force. You're going to see us in bigger numbers in Hamtramck. You're going to see us at the schools. those officers at the schools are going to be assigned to patrol the schools, take care of issues that might arise from the schools with kids, like like the school threats, right? And there will be our eyes and ears when dealing with kids who potentially could be a problem to the city of Hamtramck public schools.
And when will that start? When do you guys start working with the schools?
So right now we're waiting to finalize everything. Our council just passed a resolution. We have to send two officers to the state of Texas for training.
Really?
Yes, yes.
That's interesting.
I'm going to talk about the training. Remind me, because I'm very big on training.
Okay. Well, do you want to mention why training is so important then, Chief?
So I could tell you from somebody that when I first started as a police officer, I got my probation extended, my training, because I did not know how to write an accident ticket. And by the time I was leaving Romulus, I was working conspiracy cases, of course, working in DEA. So the training that was offered to me by DEA really opened my eyes. I saw how people that were interviewing suspects in front of me, sometimes I believed like this person's not going to talk. It'll be like a cartel member. And by the time I see the agent who's been trained well, how he could get confessions, how they were doing their job so efficiently, it was making the case look so easy, all because due to the training they got. But we tend to want officers to do great, but we have to offer officers training avenue. We have to, beyond the basic training. Okay, look, every cop in Michigan has to go through the basic firearms every year, defensive tactics. Okay, that's good. But is that going to make you a better auto theft investigator? No, it's not. So if we don't offer those training to our officers, or narcotic training, or interview and interrogation, our officers not going to get better.
And as you're saying that, the thing that goes to my mind, Chief, is for the people out there that think that, there's those still group of people out there that be like, cities don't need the policing. We don't support the police. For those people that are out there that are anti-police till this day, even after everything that's going on, what is it that you want to maybe mention to them or to those people?
I want to tell those people, if you are in a car accident, who do you call? 911. Who do you want to come? Do you want the police or you want nobody? Do you want if your family member's house is getting broken into by a suspect with a gun, and you live an hour away, are you going to police their house? Are you going to help and save them? We are there for a reason. We are there to make society run with efficiency. People not breaking laws. We have traffic laws. If you don't have traffic laws, you'd have people getting killed at every intersection they went through because nobody would stop for a red light, right?
Yeah.
I know most cops. I never became a cop because I love the power or anything else. Like you hear some comments like, "Oh yeah, this guy was this and this was no." In fact, when I went through the academy, I remember my instructor in the police academy saying one thing. He looked at me and goes, "Hussein," he goes, in 5 years, most of the officers here, they'll either be out of the job because they had enough of it, or they become more human on the job. So most officers, were like, even like, you could tell every officer, you could ask them, what's the worst thing you ever encounter? And a lot of times they'll tell you, crimes against children, right? Because these people, they're human. They're just like you and I. I mean, I'm human like you, right? But some people, they think just because you wear a uniform, you stop becoming human. Yeah. No, you're not. You're dealing with, you're seeing the stuff that happens in society more than anybody else. You are exposed to it. You are exposed to suicides. You seen things that people only see on TV, but you're seeing it live.
Yeah. No, great points, man. And nobody really talks about how, your guys' perspective, and you guys go home, you guys got families, you guys got other things going on in your life too.
Yes.
They just see you behind the badge and, with the outfit on. That it looks very clean, by the way.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
Very nice. I appreciate you for wearing it too. Obviously it looks nice whenever you have a person sitting in uniform. I didn't want to put that pressure on you, but Chief drove all the way back to Hamtramck, put on that uniform. So I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
You're doing an amazing job in the community, Oz Media. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your work in Hamtramck and surrounding communities, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And so that's my final Question to you, Chief, is we are, and this is something I'm just gonna ask you because I feel like there's just a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Back home, some of our countries,
Yes.
here in the community, here in our communities and surrounding communities, just overall, what advice would you say to people out there right now during these tough times? There's a lot happening. I was just thinking about it yesterday. Like I feel like everything is happening, and we're just kind of becoming numb to everything, which is weird. It's a weird situation right now. So just any advice for people out there?
I could tell you as I'm affected by it, like every member of this community. It breaks my heart to see people getting, slaughtered, children dying, and I want to tell them, I am part of your community and I feel for you. Death in Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, everywhere around the world is unacceptable and must stop. I am very anti-war. A lot of people don't know what party they assume. I could be Republican, I could be this, but I could tell you something. Everybody that supports any wars in America, I'm against.
Yeah.
And I want to tell these people in this community, Dearborn Heights, Dearborn, Hamtramck, I am with you. I probably have a lot of similarities with you, and some of you guys don't even know. We just have to be here for one another and our relatives back home. I have lost relatives in the war myself, and I mean, we don't know the status of some of our relatives today that live back home. So,
Thank you for sharing that, man. It's just a tough time, and I just want people out there to know that I think it's important to support one another. We have to. If there was ever a time now to be one, it's now.
yes,
There's just a lot going on. I think that we have to come together as a community, no matter where you at, whoever is listening to this. I think if you have siblings, tell them you love them. If you have kids, hug them and kiss them. If you have a spouse, hug them and kiss them. Life is so short. There's just a lot happening, and I just think that sometimes we get so numb. Even like family. Like we see each other. Every now and then we communicate with our phones, but sometimes we need to make sure we check in with one another. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
you're right.
And I just, wanted to put that out there because it was in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I got the show with the chief tomorrow. We were supposed to have the mayor as well, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. A lot going on right now, and so we appreciate you, Chief. Before you say any final word and final comments, just want to go over one last time of how people can follow us. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. You want to watch the full episode? YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. You want to watch clips because the Chief's about to have some fire clips coming out of this episode. They'll be on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. You can watch or see all those platforms on our website, MotivateMe313.com. Shout out to the Chief. Shout out to our sponsors, Juice Box, Holy Bowly, Wing Fellas, Bates and Mocha, Chill Box, Malik Kebab, Hanley International Academy, The Family Doc, GE Preparatory Academy, and Royal Kebab. Chief, any final words, final comments, anything you'd like to say? Maybe I didn't ask or forgot to ask.
I just want to say this. Me going to Hamtramck or before Dearborn Heights, it was all about the people that were there. The people in the officers, the hard, dedicated officers in Hamtramck are who are making the difference today in Hamtramck. I'm just one element in that police department, so I never want this my appearance today to look like I'm the one that made. Again, this was a team effort that we're doing in Hamtramck, and I've been blessed. I worked with amazing people in Romulus, DEA, Dearborn Heights PD, and shout out to them, great group of guys. And now Hamtramck. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm too old and I know every cop in, in America and Michigan.
Not old at all, by the way. Not old.
But these guys in, Deputy Chief Andy Molesky, Robert George, Captain Mervin, and everybody else, everybody been great. The officers, everybody been responding. Everybody wants to see positive things happen in Hamtramck. And I want to tell the people in Hamtramck, your officers are looking forward to just expanding our services, and we're here for you. And I'm sure there'll be a statement every officer in Hamtramck would make today.
Go ahead and give that a round of applause. Look at the Chief right there. That was a great ending of an episode right there. Appreciate you, Chief. Listen, man, I can vouch for him. They're doing a great job. Keep up the great work, Chief. And inshallah, we continue to move forward in the city of Hamtramck. And again, don't forget, no matter what city you're in, support one another, show love to one another, show up for one another. I think that's also important. Shout out to the Chief. Shout out to Yusuf. One last time, Season 5, Episode 30 of Oz Media's Motivate Me 313's podcast. Hamtramck Rising, the police chief talking about crime, community, and change. Shout out to Chief Hussein Farhat. Shout out to Yusuf. We hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.